When science meets reincarnation, deconstructing many lives, many masters. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. In our last episode, we talked about how Dr. Brian Weiss broke away from more than a decade of strict scientific rationality. During a hypnosis session with his patient Catherine, he encountered incredible visions of past lives for the very first time. Today, we are going to dive deeper into this doctor's spiritual labyrinth. If you listened to the previous episode, you might be thinking, couldn't these past life descriptions just be fantasies Catherine made up? After all, our brains are exceptionally good at inventing stories. As a psychiatrist, Dr. Weiss initially harbored the exact same skepticism. He was searching for a major trauma that could explain her present-day symptoms, because even if these remarkably vivid images were mere fantasy, if they lurked in her subconscious, they could still cause psychological distress. However, what happened next not only shattered Dr. Weiss's doubts, but completely blew his entire materialist scientific worldview built over more than 30 years into pieces. Act E. Intersecting Times, Death and Precognition. During this hypnosis session, Catherine first regressed to several extraordinary scenes. It began with a dream set on an old stone staircase. She saw a tower overlooking both mountains and the sea, where guards were playing a strange circular board game using sharp, dagger-like pieces carved with animal heads. That was in 1473, in the district of Croston, Netherlands. Next, she found herself at a port as a young boy named John. During a midnight patrolling search, at the exact moment of John's tragic death at 21, Catherine suddenly began making a rattling noise in her throat and gasped frantically on the couch. Someone she knows in her current life. You see, the soul-good dynamic reveals itself here once again. Those with whom we have deep ties in this life often meet us time and again across many past lives in different roles, clearing debts owed to one another over long spans of time. After his death, John floated into the clouds and was quickly pulled into the narrow, warm space. She was about to be born. This time, it was a life much closer to our present day. Her name was Elizabeth, born into a farming family filled with domestic abuse and frequent quarrels. Her father was Edward, an alcoholic who frequently resorted to violence. She later fled that home, married a blonde man, and lived in Bradenton. They raised pigs and sheep on their farm, and a leather-bound Gaelic Bible rested on their table. Eventually, she fell on the stone staircase, but lived out her natural span and passed away peacefully, surrounded by her family. Listening to this, Dr. Weiss was still striving to maintain a scientist's calm objectivity. He tried to canalize the possibility. Could she have absorbed these details unconsciously from magazines or television? But right around this stage, something occurred with Catherine that no rational person could deny. Her mediumship and precognitive abilities emerged. On one occasion, Catherine's father, who was deeply skeptical of these events, came to visit her. To prove to him that what she said was true, Catherine took him to a racetrack. Right before his stunned eyes, Catherine picked a winning horse in every single race. She won money, but immediately handed all her winnings to the first poor person she met on the street, intuitively feeling that this newly discovered ability should never be used for personal gain. Predicting every race correctly was definitely not a matter of probability or luck. Dr. Weiss was forced to admit that her psychic abilities were real and verifiable. Act 2. The resonant voice from the in-between state. If predicting horse races merely proved the existence of the paranormal, then what truly shook Dr. Weiss's soul was the in-between state after Elizabeth's death. When Elizabeth passed away and her soul flowed up once more into that bright, energy-infusing light, Catherine fell silent on the couch for a few minutes. Suddenly, she began to speak. This was not Catherine's usual slow, gentle whisper. Her voice suddenly became raspy, loud, extremely firm, and unhesitating. In a tone completely unlike her own, she declared, "Our target is to learn, to become godlike through knowledge. We know so little. You are here to be my teacher. I have so much to learn. By knowledge, we approach God, and then we can rest. Then we come back to teach and help others." Dr. Weiss was utterly shocked. These were definitely not words or phrasing Catherine would normally use. She had become a conduit for a higher dimensional intelligence, the non-physical master soul, speaking through her to teach Dr. Weiss the laws of the universe. Eager to uncover more verifiable details, Dr. Weiss guided her quickly into her next life as a black maid named Abby in Virginia, USA, in 1873. In this lifetime, Catherine described in meticulous detail how to clean old mirrors, make butter, and burn pitch on wooden barrels, even coughing from the heavy wood smoke. In that life, Abby died of pneumonia as a frail, shriveled 60-year-old woman. Once again, her soul detached from her body and was drawn into that familiar, brilliant light. Catherine lay on the couch, her head tilting to one side as if looking out over a vast, sweeping landscape. Then, that raspy, loud voice filled with absolute authority returned once more. The voice said, "They tell me there are many gods, for God is in every one of us." Immediately after, the voice delivered a message that instantly made Dr. Whisks felt in that instant. His Pherinium was Avram. Weiss's entire body freeze, almost stopping his breath. "Your father is here, and your son. Your father says you will know him because his name is Avram, and your daughter is named after him. Also, his death was due to heart failure. Your son's heart was also bad, backwards, like a chicken's. He loved you very much and made a great sacrifice for you. His death paid the debt of his parents. At the same time, he wants you to know that medicine can only go so far. Its scope is very limited. Everyone, please take a moment to imagine what Dr. Weiss felt in that exact instant. In his therapy room were no diplomas on the Weiss felt in that exact instant. In his therapy room, there were no diplomas on the wall, no records of his personal life anywhere. Trained in the strictest traditions of psychoanalysis, he had always maintained a blank slate, therapeutic distance in front of his patients. It was impossible for Catherine to know anything about his family, and in those days, there was no internet to look up such secrets. Yet Catherine, or the soul speaking through her, had pinpointed two deeply private heartbreaks that even Dr. Weiss's closest friends barely knew. First, Dr. Weiss's father. His Hebrew name was Avram, and he had died of a heart attack. 4 months after his death, Dr. Weiss's daughter was born, named after his father to honor his memory. Second, the greatest sorrow of Dr. Weiss's closest friends barely knew. First, Dr. Weiss's life, his firstborn son, Adam. In early 1971, just 10 days after Adam was brought home, he developed a rare congenital heart defect, total anomalous pulmonary venous drainage. His pulmonary veins were positioned in reverse, entering the heart from the wrong direction, as if his heart were inverted. It was a condition occurring in only 1 in 10 million infants. Despite major cardiac surgery, Adam passed away at just 23 days old. Back then, it was precisely the outrage of watching modern medical technology stand helpless before such a rare anomaly that led Dr. Weiss to abandon internal medicine and dedicate his life to psychiatry. And now, in this quiet, dim-lit therapy room, Catherine, speaking through the master souls, exposed this deeply buried grief word for word. The voice told him that his son was an exceptionally evolved soul who lived for only 23 days as a sacrifice to remind him that medicine can only go so far, nudging him back onto the path of researching the mind and soul. In that moment, the temperature in the room felt freezing cold. Dr. Weiss asked in a trembling voice, "Who is there? Who told you these things?" Catherine replied softly, "The master souls." They told me I have lived 86 times. At that instant, goosebumps broke out all over Dr. Weiss's arms. Rational doubt was completely shattered. If departed loved ones could reach across the boundaries of time and space, call out his name with complete accuracy, and reveal secrets known only to him, then they had never truly died. Beyond fear and awe, a profound, indescribable feeling of love began to bloom in Dr. Weiss's heart. He missed his father, and he missed his baby son, who had lived for only 23 days. He finally understood that the dimensions of life are far grander than what meets the eye. The physical body is merely a temporary vessel, while the soul learns, experiences, and repays karmic debts across 86 lifetimes until, through knowledge and love, it approaches the supreme existence. We often say seeing is believing, but Dr. Weiss's journey reminds us that when rigorous science reaches its limits, it does not mark the beginning of absurdity. It marks the moment a grander door to truth slowly swings open. The seemingly minor self-criticism and relentless self-blame in our daily lives may accumulate damage no less severe and a major tragedy, and every person we meet or pain we endure in this life may have taken root in a distant past life, waiting for us to heal it with love and understanding today. And with that, the central curtain of many lives, many masters has been lifted. Do you believe in reincarnation? Or have you ever felt that certain seemingly accidental regrets in life carry a far deeper meaning? Thank you so much for listening today. See you in the next episode.